There are challenges and there are victories and there is good and there is bad and it all coexists. And so one of the things my wife and I talk about is like trying to live with the windows open, like where we let the good in and let the good in and the bad in that comes and goes, and just realizing that that's life, right? That ability to go through challenging stuff and just have the tools to help it be a little bit easier.
You have a book called Misdirection, which is a
Yeah.
magician's guide to stopping and avoiding manipulation in your life. So it's interesting how the paradox of those 2.
It's funny, I had written the first book and, it'd been about 6 months, and, our buddy Bob Goff goes to me, he goes, "Well, what's the next book gonna be about?" I'm like, "I haven't even thought about that." And he's like, "What if it was about the opposite of your first book?" And I started thinking, "Well, what would that be?" And the first book was all about wonder and viewing the world with kind of, like, innocent eyes and, seeing the beauty that's out there. And, misdirection is it's the opposite of wonder. It's the deception that's required often in a magic show to give you wonder. But yeah, I started to notice the same techniques I use as a magician to distract, to draw attention, to trick you in order to give you a great experience. Those same things are being utilized all the time in all these areas of our life where they really were never meant to be. Whether it's uh, in the office on a Monday morning, you don't expect to be misdirected. You don't be expected to be misdirected when you sit in a pew on a Sunday morning, or, when a politician talks to you on TV. And so I thought, what if we wrote a book where we examined kind of all those different areas and how misdirection has seeped its way into them. And so it's a really fun book about really tough subject, but just sharing a little bit of how magic works so people have their eyes open to avoid getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, I like how you said that, where it's a really fun book about a tough subject, because that's
Yeah,
the way you tell the story. You're like, "Hey, let me open your eyes to this." I mean, you're a magician and you're like, "Let me kinda let you peek behind the curtain right here." And
right.
yeah, it is the opposite. And it's not a downer though. It's still hopeful, and, life
Yeah,
is still wonderful, and
yeah,
so I like that.
life is wonderful, and, it's interesting. There are challenges and there are victories, and there is good and there is bad, and it all coexists. And so one of the things my wife and I talk about is, like, trying to live with the windows open, like, where we let the good in and let the good in and the bad in that comes and goes, and just realizing that that's life, right? That ability to go through challenging stuff and just have the tools to help it be a little bit easier. And so hopefully, I'm hoping with this book, it saves people some heartache so that they can, learn not from having to experience it themselves.